Hey guys, Fireblade here, and welcome to another What If. This What If is a different series, from a different series anyways. This is more of a concept, or as professional would call it, my pitch for the She-Ra movie. Now, if you've been all over Twitter, most likely you have seen two hashtags related to the She-Ra movie trending. It's either hashtag She-Ra movie or hashtag make a She-Ra movie. Here I am basically trying to make a professional contribution to this. Alright? And Noel, I think that's your name. If you're watching this, $5, all I'm asking. Shout out to Vine Sauce for that. Anyways, let's get right into it. So, the movie starts out a few months after the finale, alright? People have basically been rebuilding. They have basically built themselves back up, as well as the crew basically winding down from this huge war that's been going on for who knows how long. In the end of the series, Adora basically asked Glimmer, Bow, and Catra if they are up for one more adventure, and they all said yes. It takes a few months to eventually start it, which is where we are right now. Alright, the characters, we get reacquainted with the characters. We acquainted with those who haven't seen the She-Ra series, You basically get an introduction of the characters, but as well as for those who have seen it, you basically see how these characters are reacting to this new time of peace. You know, this victory that they got and this time of peace that they have now. Alright. So that's on until they eventually do shoot off into space to start their adventure of space. They pass Hordak Prime's ship. The shot lingers on there, which basically means something from that ship is gonna come back. Now, the adventure is not gonna be about their space adventure. No, in fact, most of that is gonna be shown in a montage, which is played behind the song, either a remake or a cover of this song from the series, right? Similar to how the Triomite did the montage of the gameplay from the Dragon Balls, and similar to how the original Broly movie remixed the Dragon Ball intro, or did a cover of the Dragon Ball Z intro, right? Basically combining those into the adventures that they have. Anyway, after that montage, we show the crew basically, just winding down before they go back home, right? Let's say like in Sonic X, for example, the Chaotix had basically, while they got lost, they basically had a bar basically in space where aliens can go to. All right, the crew is basically at one of those bars, essentially bars, restaurant, whatever. All right, they're just winding down, They're just winding down before going home, and basically they're still showing that these characters, despite these characters still are close friends and whatnot. Catra and Adora are still lovers and yada yada yada. When they land back on Etheria, right, they basically land in the area where the ship was before they set off to Hordak. Before they set to Horde Prime. They land in that area, right? As the others are going to Bright Moon, Catra realizes that they've forgotten something or not, so she decides to go back into the ship. Right? Catra basically tells them to go on ahead, alright, because it won't take her too long, which they all do. A few minutes later, an explosion happens. They all run back and see the ship is destroyed. Adora basically yell out to Catra, because again, Catra was in the ship. People start coming out, right, and they're basically glad and excited that yes, we finally took her down. They're basically glad, excited that they took down whatever was in the ship. The best friend squads are just wondering like, what the hell? Why'd you do that? And it isn't until one of the princesses comes out saying something along the lines like, "We finally got rid of her. You're free now. We're back at peace," which is just confusing to them because. It was confusing because when they left, they were at peace. There was no war or anything. There were no war or anything. It's basically been few months, almost a year since they left. So that's why. But before one of the before the princess I was there can explain, Catra comes out from the crawls on top of the destroyed ship. Obviously, having some burns on her and whatnot. She's looking furious. Adora just looks at Catra, glad that she's alive. But Catra just charges at both Adora and the princess. She's attacking, but Catra's getting overwhelmed. Catra's not saying anything, but she gets overwhelmed, and instead of getting captured or killed, she just darts off into the woods and just basically use her cat-like skills to get away. The best friend squad are basically getting caught up on what is happening in Etheria, but they're just like, no, that's not right. Catra was with us the entire time. We saved a bunch of planets and restored their magic. But the princess and everyone else is just like that. No, you haven't. You've been on Hordak's ship the entire time. We basically get after that we basically get kind of a flashback on what's happening on their side, on how towns are being destroyed and whatnot. People are getting killed. It's happening. It started out as something small, but as more and more casualties and destruction started happening, they had to catch their attention. It wasn't until they have found Catra. They're trying to ask her, but Catra ends up attacking them. Confused on why it is, they have to attack back. One woman even suggested that Catra has gone back to her ways as a Horde soldier. But Catra isn't talking to them at all, so they need to, the main goal is to capture Catra. It isn't until they find Adora basically beaten and with a chip on her neck, the back of her neck. Basically saying, they're asking what is happening. Adora basically tells them that Catra took over the ship and it brought them to Horde Prime's old ship. I don't know how she was able to do it, but she rebooted everything and now she's planning to destroy Etheria, which is just honestly shocks everyone. They try to take the chip off Adora's neck, but the chip once again activates. She attacks them and she just goes off. Now they're basically at a war with Catra, an entire planet against one person who is not only is sneaky, is clever, and is smart. And because of what Adora said and how Catra took over and basically brought them to a Horde Prime ship, they were trying to figure out a plan to rescue them. In fact, that was one of the things they were going to come up with until they had landed. The best friend squad are so confused by this. They don't know. It doesn't make sense to them at all. But everyone else, even Entraptor, basically saying, mainly Entraptor saying, the chip that they had, it had the potential to basically erase minds or overlap a memory. Most likely, this is a memory that Catra was able to put into your mind because it's something that you have wanted to do. And basically, with all these agreements from the Princess Alliance, they start to believe them. So now they're believing that Catra is once again their enemy. So when Adora goes basically to her room, one of the guards that was there basically greets her. When Adora walks in, she doesn't close the door. In fact, she talks to the guard. So I figured out what is happening here. Takes the mask off and looks inside. It is Catra with some burns and cuts basically around her face. She asks Adora what's going on, and Adora basically gives her an abridged version of it. But she didn't get the complete abridged version because Catra hears someone coming, has to cut the conversation short. But Catra knows what is going on. Somebody is framing Catra. At first, she thinks it's Double Trouble, but despite the fact that Double Trouble betrayed her, she figured he wouldn't do that. She or he, whatever gender Double Trouble is, I don't care. Because the planet is against Catra, he has to stay in the role of a guard and get information from Adora. Catra doesn't like it, but she has to. It is, and basically this happens. Basically this entire happens for kind of the entire movie. It seems like more and more Catra is winning, and the crew is getting more frustrated that even Catra is starting to turn them against each other. Mainly against Adora, because Adora has the most connection to Catra, and Adora doesn't want them to kill her. But everyone else are basically in agreement that Catra needs to be killed. The reason why Adora wouldn't let the princess kill Catra is because the real Catra was out every now and then trying to find and capture this fake Catra. So she didn't want them to accidentally kill the real Catra. It's basically all happens until all this army basically are at a war with each other. Catra herself is looking in amusement, basically kind of saying how she won. It's until the best friend squad and the main Princess Alliance finds Catra and takes her on. And Catra is getting overwhelmed. Right, this is more power than she actually ever expected, and it's because, while Catra is smart, she is not stronger than all these princes together. They're about to basically kill this Catra. That isn't until the real Catra comes in and starts attacking, which confuses everybody. There's two Catras. The fake Catra ends up using this in her favor. She basically tries to run away so the real Catra would follow her. But in reality, she's changing her form to look more like the real Catra. That's how this fake Catra was able to trick everyone else and basically stay hidden and strategically outsmart everyone. She can change her shape just like Double Trouble can. But because of this, once the real Catra catches up to her, they basically start fighting. All the princes follow her, and now they see two identical Catra. And the fake Catra is trying to get them to kill the real Catra, and the real Catra trying to convince them that she is the real Catra. Because they're so similar now and don't know which one to choose, they all basically choose one. Adora just tries to stop them. She kind of does. The attacks still aren't the main Catra. The real Catra just seems like she's been destroyed. The fake Catra plays it off like she is the real Catra. Just basically, like thanks him and hugs him and whatnot. We get a fake credit scene, a fake ending, right? Where it just seems like this is all over. We can finally have our peace again. Right. Everyone is about to walk away. That isn't until the real Catra lands an attack with all of her strength, every single ounce of her strength, and it actually goes through the fake Catra. In fact, it goes through right where her heart is supposed to be. Everyone sees that it is not a heart, but something made of something like a motherboard or whatever. Everyone's surprised by this, and the fake Catra's like, how? And the real Catra is like, because I've worked too hard to get this life, and I am not gonna let the Horde destroy it. She ripped it out, basically disconnecting all the wires and whatnot, and crushes it. Fake Catra is now dead. Word is around the theory that there was a fake Catra made by Horde Prime's ship. Horde Prime had a backup in case he ever lost. If the ship isn't attended to for a certain amount of time, it will make a clone. However, since Horde Prime was a smart cookie, he made one of his backup. He made one of the backup things make a clone of Catra, so it can be used against Etheria. It still had Horde Prime's thoughts and ideals. It was basically kind of like another Horde Prime, but mixed with Catra. Anyways, that will basically be the end of the movie, but we get a post-credit scene of Catra. Catra in a design that we see in Adora's dream. She is sitting on the balcony looking at the stars. Adora walks up behind her. Catra turns and looks at Adora and sees her with baby Finn. Adora walks up right next to Catra with her baby in her hand, and she kisses Catra. Fades out, and we get the long credits thing, the full credits, and that will be the end of the movie. Now again, I have thought of this many times, but But I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought this. When you say it out loud, sometimes it comes and goes and whatnot. So yeah, there were some things that there were some things that didn't go out the way I wanted to, but you know. Anyways, yeah, that's pretty much it. If you liked the video, be sure to click that like and subscribe button. Sorry about that. I would love to do more for you guys. Fireblade here. Let me know what you think of this, alright? Again, alright? The first script sucks, alright? No matter what. If you've never written a script, you would know the first script sucked. Just saying it out loud, yes, the first draft of this sucked. I'm pretty sure with better writing and better pacing, it will turn out better. Anyway, Fireblade here, and I will see you later, whatever I make. Bye!